welcome back. So this is the latest James's World update. What I've been up to since I did the last one of these videos. And we'll just briefly start off with the fact that it's taken me 40 years to watch this film. I remember it back in the 80s. Probably, I would imagine it was video. Well, it must have been video. I remember it being talked about, but I never had the video or saw the film on TV or anything. And it's been something at the back of my mind for years, probably. And I've been looking out to find it on DVD. I've never seen it in a charity shop. No CEX local to me had it, and it doesn't seem particularly common in CEX. I think there was, since I've been looking on there, I think there's only been around 3 or 4 in the country in stock, maybe slightly more. But then one day, one cropped up in a fairly local one to me. I can't remember where it was. So I shot straight over there. I mean, I could have ordered it online, you know, and paid the £3 shipping or whatever it was, but it feels like, for a low budget film, it feels a lot, doesn't it, to pay £3 for delivery. And again, I suppose I could have bought it off eBay, but I don't know, I just had a bee in my bonnet with this particular film. I wanted to find it local, and anyway, I went to this local CEX and finally they had it. It's got a bit of spine fadage, and I think it's a £4 DVD, or was when I bought it. So, you know, pricey for a DVD. So I don't know if that makes me think that it's never been released on Blu-ray. I've no idea. Anyway, I'm talking about BMX Bandits. You've been in 2 minutes of suspense. Yeah, the spine is a bit faded, unfortunately. It should be yellow and it's kind of cream. Didn't matter. I only wanted to watch the film. Like I say, this is from the early 80s. And I've always fancied watching it. Was it worth the wait? Yes and no. It's not a very good film, really. I've got to say. At least not coming to it with my aged eyes. Had I watched it back in the 80s, I think I would have thought it was pretty cool, to be honest. It's just ludicrous adventure-y. On some parts of the film on BMX bikes, and it stars Nicole Kidman when she was really young. I never knew this is an Australian production. I was always under the impression it was an American film, but no, it's Australian. Who knew? But I didn't anyway. It's kind of, you know, the BMX footage is kind of cool. It's a bit ridiculous, as you might expect, but had I watched it when I was a kid, I think, like I say, I think it would have been great. It's still, you know, I enjoyed watching it and I'm glad I've seen it, and I might watch it again in the future, but as a piece of filmmaking, it ain't going to win any awards, but I'm glad I've seen it and I've scratched a 40-year-old itch. I'm only going to mention one other film. This is something else I found in a charity shop, this one. And again, I remembered it from back in the 80s, and I remember the name being about. Never watched it. Again, it would have been on VHS, probably some kid at school might have mentioned it, or it might have been in the general psyche, I can't remember. But I found it in a charity shop anyway, Jumping Jack Flash. And from where I briefly looked into it when I got it, to you know, see what it was going for, because it's not something I remember ever seeing, you know, to buy anywhere. Must have been, obviously, but it seems to hold, for a DVD, you know, I think it's like £7-8, so it must, again, I question whether this is available Blu-ray. But this was better than I expected. It's by no means brilliant, but it's a good kind of slight comedy, action, adventure movie about, like, would you call it computer hacking? Possibly not, but it's kind of computer based and secret agent based, and Whoopi Goldberg plays this sort of just general character, humdrum office worker in America, obviously, who gets mixed up in the world of spies and espionage through a computer. Not bad. Much better. I thought it'd be absolute garbage, but reasonable. Right, I've been making many more changes. One thing has led to another, really. So many changes. I've got rid of quite a lot of stuff, and still am doing so, really. I don't know, I'm enjoying it, streamlining, cutting things right back to stuff I can see myself playing, and getting rid of, I mean, I hadn't got any what I considered rubbish, you know, I only had decent games, but just looking through the shelves and you're thinking, am I ever going to play that? Combined with all this like new stuff I've bought for modern consoles, which is only expanding, the chances of me going back to play this older stuff, or a lot of this older stuff, are just not going to happen. Coupled with the fact I've now, which I never thought was ever possible, I'm going to be able to display everything I own, which just seemed impossible 2 or 3 years ago. And I absolutely love that. So, like I say, through getting rid of stuff, making space to display what's left, things have been moving around the room. You know, I've changed another TV here. I've kind of streamlined what was in the arcade room, and that's kind of half what it was now, really, because I never went in there, to be honest. So it's more of a gym office now, really, than gaming. I've only got one console left in there, which is the one that's in the driving cab. All the others are gone, and I feel better for it, to be honest. It's better used as an office and a gym, with my driving cab when the need and desire arises rather. I've then managed to get my driving rig in here now, so basically, aside from my driving cab, everything now is in one room, and it's so much better, honestly. Get less, play more. That's my motto. I can't speak for anybody else, only for myself, but for me, the more you have, the less you play. So I've now gone down the road, and will continue going down the road of the less you have, the more you play. That's the motto I'm going to live by, I think, going forwards. And this has been going on for months, all this year, really. And I found it so refreshing, and it's only snowballed and got bigger and bigger, really. But I'm enjoying playing my games more than ever, and that's the most important thing, isn't it? It doesn't matter what you're playing, be it 50 years old or 5 minutes old, as long as you're playing and enjoying a game, what the hell does it matter? That's what I've kind of learnt to appreciate in these past 6 months. And I'm loving the position I'm getting myself in. And having everything on tap here, everything, you know, I've reorganised all my consoles and my games, everything's plugged in, ready to go. Now I'm more messing about like I used to, and I've got like everything set up. My driving rig is right here next to me. It's just a PS3 driving rig really. I'm going to buy a wheel for the PS5, and then I can switch the wheels out and play on the PS5 using the wheel when I get one. That's a bit down the line yet, I can't afford one, but that should be awesome, because I've never had a wheel for the PS4 or 5. My cab down in the arcade, my driving cab is an Xbox One, so I use it to play all my Xbox races. But now I've got this new setup in here to be able to, when I get the wheel, to be able to play all the PS4 and 5 games with the wheel. Epic. So I'm so excited about that. And I've reorganised things over there on my Bond Shrine, and that's still work in progress, but I feel it's really coming together. Anyway, that then brings me on to the games I've been playing since I did one of these videos. I don't know how long it's been, 4 or 5 weeks perhaps. So I think I'll run through the digital ones I've done first. Now I'll put some footage up. First up, we've got Ace Driver, which is an Arcade Archives recent release on it's on all consoles I believe, and there's a slight premium to buy it on like a PS5 or a Switch too. I bought it on PS5 because I've bought all the other like Ridge Racer, Rave Racer, Aquajet on the PS5, so I thought I'll keep them all on the same console. And then maybe when I get this wheel, maybe it'll work with them, I don't know. I'm not holding out any hope for that, but you never know. It'd be mega if it would work on Ridge Racer and Rave Racer. Anyway, Ace Driver. It's the latest release from Hamster and Arcade Archives. Another Namco mid-90s polygon racer. I believe it was the initial idea for Ridge Racer, so I've read. Ridge Racer became its own thing, and Ace Driver became Ace Driver. It's kind of a F1 style polygon racer in the mould of virtual racing. I'm not sure where I sit with this, to be honest. In some ways it's fantastic, and in other ways I think it's quite bad. Since I've downloaded it and played it, I read some reviews, and the reviews seem to be generally good, you know, kind of 8 out of 10. And I don't know what you think if you've played it, and you know, if you're into your arcade races, you might have done. Let me know what you think in the comments about Ace Driver. Like I say, in some ways it's fantastic. It looks great. It's the, you know, it's the quintessential mid-90s arcade racer. It looks, you know, fantastic. Beautiful bright colours, as you'd expect from Sega or a Namco racer. With F1 cars, and it looks really good. The problems I have with it start when you start playing it. I really don't think the controls are very good. I've no idea if the arcade was the same because I've never played it. I have read that the analog thumbstick you can adjust the sensitivity on it, which I haven't done. And I've read that it does improve things. I've just played it default so far, and it's very sensitive, but that's not really my issue with it. I can cope with that. It's the way the car connects with the road. Honestly, it's the worst handling F1 car you could possibly imagine. You know, an F1 car sticks to the road like glue, doesn't it? Not that we've ever driven one, but we know it does. this is simply not the case with Ace Driver. The car slides around like you're driving on ice. Unless you're going in a straight line, the power doesn't get put down to the road. If you're turning, the power cuts off. You can't really drift, in my opinion. There's no sort of drift button or anything. When you lift off, it does cause the car to skid, and then you can sort of straighten the wheels, and then you put the power back down, and it'll kind of go in the direction wherever you're facing then. But all the time you're turning, predominantly, unless you're doing it gently, you're skidding basically. So any sharp turn, you're skidding, and you've got no traction when you turn. So, and this doesn't seem to apply to the AI competitors. They seem to fly around corners without this problem. They also drive into your lot and cause you to spin and lose loads of ground. And then another problem I've found with this is the fact I've only played the beginner course. I can't win. I can finish second every time. I can be first at the end of the first lap, I can be first at the end of the second lap, at the end of the third lap someone always overtakes me and I get second. Because the end of the lap is quite a long straight, and they always seem to slipstream you and go past you on the last finishing straight, and you can do absolutely nothing about it. If the roles are reversed and you're behind the first place car, you don't get a slipstream effect, and you can't catch the competitor fast enough before the finish line. So I'm sure you must be able to finish first, but I've tried multiple times so far, I can't do it. Have you? Let me know. I've tried various different driving methods for getting around the course in different ways. So far, I haven't managed to do it. That said, I've been happily playing it for a good hour or two. It is a good game. The handling for me is flawed. But I don't regret downloading it. It is a good game. But it's just so annoying, if you get me. But what do you if you've played it, what do you think? I'm on the fence with Ace Driver. In some ways, like I say, it's a 9 out of 10. In other ways, it's like a 4 out of 10. We'll leave that there. Right, the next download game I played was something called 12 Minutes, which was on the original Switch. Now this is like, I suppose it's a point and click thriller adventure game, really. But the gimmick is you're stuck in a 12-minute time loop where you come home to your house, to your wife who's in your apartment, and you then keep replaying this 12 minutes to find out the true answer to the story. Because initially you get home, you get a knock on the door from a policeman. He informs you your wife is being arrested for murdering her father. You have then got this 12-minute loop to try and establish what the real outcome of the story is, by repeated plays. You have to play the same thing over and over again, and you learn to do things differently to learn different things, and you can take the conversation in different directions to see where it goes. Because, like I say, after 12 minutes, shortly after the policeman knocks the door, you wake up and it's the same process happening again. You just arrive home to the same scenario. Initially I thought it was really quite good, and then I felt it was getting a bit frustrating because I was playing the same thing over and over again, and I didn't feel I was getting anywhere. I felt like I was getting bogged down, and I couldn't progress once I got to a certain point. At which point I decided to look at a guide because I was losing the will to live with it. And that kind of, there was a couple of things that helped me with, because there's some certain things within the game that you've got to do at certain times to unlock something else happening. I don't think I'd have found it on my own, to be honest. Certainly not with my level of patience anyway. But anyway, you eventually work out what the true outcome of the story is and was. It's quite good. It's a novel idea. I did enjoy it. It's very repetitive at times. I'd recommend playing it a bit to start with, and then if you get stuck, just look at a guide, and that'll get you to the end. But it is quite, I like the concept. It's like a thriller version of Groundhog Day. I think, you know, it's a 6.5 out of 10 maybe. It's a reasonable play if you like that kind of thing. Right, next up we've got another digital game called One Night Burlesque, which again was on the Switch. Both of these I think were fairly cheap, else I wouldn't have bought them. Now this is another sort of thriller adventure style game, but this one's more in a visual novel form than point and click. There's a slight bit of point and click, but it's mainly a visual novel. It's really done quite nicely. It's got a nice kind of artistic art style to this. I mean, there's not really much going on graphically. It's mainly sort of still drawings, but there is some movement. And it's obviously, the clues in the title. This mystery is set in like a burlesque dancers club, and you play this like burlesque dancer, and you've got kind of psychic powers, and you foresee a murder, and you've got to sort of use your psychic powers by interviewing the people or talking to the people within the club to try and prevent or understand what this murder is about. And there's conversations you can choose from, and I believe I've only played through it once, but I think you could take the conversation in a different direction and possibly get a different ending. But I felt I'd had my time with it once I played through it once. It's not a particularly long game. I think it was about 90 minutes from memory, but reasonable. If you like that kind of thing, reasonable game. Although 12 minutes, that's going to take you a bit longer to do that. Depends how many times you multiply play through it, really. Right, I think that's all the digital games we've played. Yes, it is. Right, going back to the end of the previous one of these videos, I was playing through Yoshi and the Mysterious Book on the Switch too. I continued playing through it, and I think I've said in my previous video that I was really quite impressed with this. My impression diminished the more I played it. It's a decent game. I'm not saying it's rubbish, but it's certainly not a great game. There are some great ideas in it, but as I said in a previous video, the levels are really very small, and there's a lot of trial and error, because it's a platform discovery level really, where you're discovering creatures within this mysterious book, and each of the creatures kind of have different abilities, and you then use some of the abilities to get to the end of the level. It looks quite nice, but I think it's a backward step from previous Yoshi games, and and it ended up being a bit underwhelming, I felt. And there were generally it's quite easy, but then there are a couple of levels which drive you insane. So at the end of the day, I think this is more. I was thinking it was like an 8-9 out of 10 game to begin with, but the more I play this, I think it's more of a 6.5 out of 10 for me. It's disappointing, and I think Nintendo need to do better than this. It's decent, but it's no more than that for me. Right, next up, we played a PS5 game called Dordogne. Now this is another one of these very artistic adventure journey style games. Now this has got like beautiful watercolour painting style graphics, and essentially you play this little girl and you are kind of revisiting your memories about a holiday you once had with your grandma in the Dordogne, funnily enough. And it's just a game basically about you remembering what went on X amount of years ago and the adventures you had as a child when you were on holiday with your grandma. And it's kind of about reconnecting with your grandma really, and reconnecting with happy memories and life generally. It's a really nice game. Again, it's not that long. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played it now. 3-4 hours, something like that. But it's really nice. The art style is fantastic. It's generally sort of walking around different areas, looking at things, picking stuff up, and then using it and talking to people. And then there'll be other levels where you're walking around an area to get to another character, or there's a section where you're sailing down the river on a boat. It's really nicely done and looks really, really nice. But you've got to like that kind of thing. But I suddenly do for some reason. I'd give that, I think, 7 out of 10 Dordogne. Right, that then brings me up. Well, actually, we'll do this one next. PS5 again. No, I've not completed this one. I don't think it's the kind of game I would ever complete, to be honest. But I've heard a few people talk about this and say it's fantastic. So I was curious enough to decide I need to try it. I'm talking about Ball Pit. Now this is a bit of a strange game because it's a mixture of different things. It's kind of sort of building how should we say it? It's kind of building a small town in part, where if you've ever played the Horde on the 3DO, PS1 or Saturn, it's kind of like that, where you're building a sort of little community and sort of growing crops and harvesting them for profit, coupled with various sort of light RPG elements where you're building up your stats to enable you to grow more, harvest more, build more buildings, make your farm bigger. But that's limited by the funds you've got, so you then kind of raise funds by playing the main game, if you like, the Ball Pit, which is kind of a cross between Arkanoid and a shmup. It sounds wacky, mad idea, but it just works. So you're playing this kind of Arkanoid shmup game, which is kind of, I'd say, 80% of the game, of what I've played so far anyway. where you've got a horde of enemies gradually coming down the screen fairly slowly, and your character at the bottom, and it's kind of twin stick. You move your character and the right stick aims where you're going to shoot the balls like in Arkanoid, and they kind of bounce off everything, and basically wherever the balls bounce it kills the enemies, and all while the enemies are dying, you know, they're dropping gems and coins which you can pick up, and then you get kind of special upgrade weapons and different sort of items and magic spells and everything which helps you defeat more enemies. And the longer you can keep it going, the more you can earn to then put into your farm and community. It's really, really good. It's really quite... I can see why people would get addicted to this, because it's... I mean, I've no idea if there's an end to it. Possibly not. I don't know. If you know, let me know. But it's really good. I don't see myself completing it, even if it's possible. It's just the kind of thing I think I will put on as a bit of a palate cleanser between other things. You know, I'll just play 1 or 2 games or cycles on this, because you'll do like a sort of farming cycle where you'll plant and harvest, and then you'll go and earn some money in this ball pit, the main section of the game, to then invest into your farming part of the game afterwards. So I can see myself playing this as a bit of a palate cleanser in between other games. But real surprising, really good game this. I mean, it appeals to... It's got that many facets to it, you know. It can appeal to like an RPG person, a shmup person, you know, like I say, Arkanoid. Really unique game. That's Ball Pit. Right, next up we've got a Switch 2 game, Gear Club Unlimited 3. Now I'd seen this recommended in another video. Obviously this started life on the original Switch. It was one of the first driving games you could buy on the Switch, but it didn't get very good reviews. I never bought it. There's subsequently been obviously a second one, which is also out on the PS5 and 4. And then obviously this third one has come out on the Switch too, and I think this is coming out on the PS5 in the future. But I'd seen a video that said this was really good, so I decided to pull the trigger and take a chance on it. This is really good. It's not without fault, but I've had a fantastic time with this. It's really surprised me. It's a very arcade based racer, kind of, I suppose it's a Gran Turismo style racer, but done in a very arcade style. It's totally unsim like handling, and there's kind of the premise of the game basically, I don't know if the other two are the same, because I've never played them, but the premise of this game is you're setting up a gear club. A gear club is basically like a driving club, like you might get a club in any, you know, it's like a car club basically. And this gear club, there's a guy who owns it, and you've been selected as a new competitor to go and set up a new gear club in Japan. And this game takes place between Japan and France, so there are some races in France, some races in Japan, and basically by you performing in, there's 8 chapters altogether, by you performing and winning races throughout these 8 chapters, you then sort of establish this Gear Club Japan, and eventually the aim is to take on the current sort of Japanese street racing champions and beat them and sort of establish Gear Club Japan. It's really good. The graphics are really nice. There's 2 modes you can choose, to like higher graphics, less performance, or better performance, slightly worse graphics. I went for the performance over graphics. and I still thought the graphics were nice. The car models look fantastic. The engine sounds are really good. All the tracks are nice. There are some beautiful Japanese tracks with like cherry blossom trees overhanging the course. It looks so nice. And then a lot of the other tracks in France are also beautiful because they're on the French Riviera. It's a really good game. It's not without faults, like I say. I think the biggest fault is the fact it's on the Switch. That's not a fault because it's on the Switch. The problem is the Switch controller, and there's now analog buttons, triggers, so you haven't got analog accelerator and brake. It does make braking a bit of an issue, in the fact that you can't brake gradually. They're either on or off, and it does make things difficult on some tracks. It's still perfectly playable, and I found myself breezing through quite a lot of it to start with. It does obviously get a bit harder, and the last round of challenges on the last chapter, they get really tricky. It was only at that point where I felt the need for an analog brake, because the AI suddenly become a lot harder on that last chapter, and the one course in particular I struggled with because it's very twisty and you need to do a lot of braking, and it was a real challenge. You find yourself sort of stabbing the brake on and off, and eventually I got through it and I finished it. But it's a fantastic game even with that problem. The only other criticism I think you can level at it is the fact the AI at times, or a lot of the time, they'll be flying around the course, and then you'll find on one corner they ram the anchors on so you can catch them up. It makes life a bit easier, I suppose, but it's a bit unrealistic in the fact that they'll be flying around courses, and then all of a sudden on a random bend they will ram the anchors on far more than they need to, and you can fly past them. It's a minor criticism really. Overall it's a fantastic game. It's also got quite a lot of variety, because there are like time trial races, there are track based races where you've got a field of whatever 8 cars, and there's different challenge. Each challenge is kind of different. You might have to set a fastest time, you might have to finish in the top 3, you might have to win a race. There's all different kinds of things, and there's also an element of Tokyo highway battle in it as well, because some of the races are like they're set in Tokyo on the sort of same roads as Tokyo highway battle I've been playing on the PS5, where it can be time based and you've got to get to a certain point within a time limit, or you've got to outrun someone else in a Tokyo highway battle style. It's really, those are my favourite levels actually, the Tokyo highway battle style levels on it. Arguably it's even better than Tokyo highway battle. Fantastic game. I can't praise this enough really. It's not perfect, like I say. It's got analog, or the lack of analog control issues, and some bizarre AI manoeuvrings at times, but don't let that put you off. This is fantastic. This also, funnily enough, is the first one of these game key card boxes, games I've bought. I was a bit sceptical, but it's the only way you can buy these, unless you go digital only. But from what I can make out, these game key cards, it's basically a reusable code in a box, essentially. So I don't think it's too bad, to be honest. I'm not put off by these anymore. Yes, you've got to download the game, but should you so desire, you can then go and resell it and get X amount of your money back. where if it was just a code in a box, you can't do that. So this might be the future, who knows, but I don't think it's the end of the world, to be honest. Right, 2 left to mention. After I played through Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, I decided to go back to Yoshi's Crafted World on the Switch. This is a far better game. I decided to play through this after playing Mysterious Book because of how I ended up being underwhelmed by Mysterious Book. I wanted to see how it compared to this, because I had this when it came out, played a bit of it, and ended up selling it when I had a bit of a purge to raise some funds. So I rebought it, and I played all the way through it this time. This is a fantastic game, I've got to say, and it's so much better than the Mysterious Book. I suppose this looks a bit different. It's still like, this is crafted. This is like it's made out of cardboard, this world, where Mysterious Book is more of a sort of an artistic drawing style to it, and obviously Woolly World was everything was made of wool. But this is much the better game of a Mysterious Book. This is more like your traditional platform game, really, but it's also got some really unique, I don't know if you'd call them bonus levels, but like levels which are out the ordinary and a non-platforming level. You might have like a shooting level, or you've got a level on a train, and honestly, this is so good. This is a 9 out of 10 game for me. Absolutely fantastic. That then brings me on to the last game, which is Kirby Air Riders. Now, this has been out some time, and I never bought it when it came out, because initially I was excited for it, and I think I did pre-order it, and then at some point I decided to cancel my pre-order. I've got the GameCube one, though I've never played it very much. I've never really got on with it. But mine's Japanese, and it's a lot of Japanese text, and I've never really understood what you're supposed to be doing. I can't remember why I bought this in the end. Like I say, it's been out a few months now. But I decided, I think I was waiting for a price drop, and Nintendo games just don't drop in price, do they? Most of them. Aside from the odd one, they never do, and it's dropped to 45, I think. So I decided to take the plunge anyway, because I'd heard some people say it was quite good. I think someone's mentioned in the comments actually it's quite good. I forget who it was, apologies. But anyway, I decided to take a plunge on this and see what I thought of it, because again, reviews, I don't like reading reviews because it's just some other person's opinion, isn't it? It's irrelevant. The only person whose opinion that matters is your own, isn't it? So I decided to buy it and form my own opinion. When I first put it on, I wasn't that impressed, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, it looks really nice. I think it looks it's a visual treat. But my disappointment came from the fact that it's not really a one-player game, which, you know, I'm Billy No Mates. I've got nobody to play with. So I thought this is not going to be any good to me, because although there's like a sort of we'll call it a Grand Prix mode. It's not called that. I forget what it's called. There are 4 modes essentially. There's like this Grand Prix mode, which is you sort of into the screen racer, if you like. Then there's this mode, which is like an overhead Micro Machines style mode, really, only it's more super sprint, as in that you can see most of the course. The third mode is like a 3D arena battle game. You know, kind of a, like you'd see in Mario Kart or, I don't know, Virtual On, that style game, where you're flying around and you've got to defeat the other opponents. That kind of thing's not for me. And then the fourth mode is what's called the story mode, which is essentially the one-player game, which is kind of a mix of the other three, where I think there are, I have read this, I think there are 12 stages in that. I'm currently up to stage 4, I think. But it's essentially a mixture of the other 3 modes, where you have a sort of, you're driving down a road, and part way down the road you encounter stages, basically, of either the Grand Prix mode track, the overhead mode track, or the battle arena style track, and you have to defeat, they seem to increase in length actually, you know, there's X amount of these modes you have to do to complete each stage of the one player mode. And they do kind of change it up a lot. You know, there might be time attacks, there might be, you've got to be ahead at a certain time, and then the arena one, there's some boss modes where you've got to defeat a boss, somewhere you have to find the key to a treasure chest and get the treasure. There's others where you have to beat opponents, there's others where you have to survive attacks. They do vary it up quite well, and then at the end of each one of these stages you do have a boss encounter, which again can take the form of race or a battle. And in all these modes you can, obviously it's a Kirby game, you can get different abilities and you can get different things to ride on, each with their own different attributes. Like I say, I think it's more of a multiplayer game than I was expecting, and a lot of my disappointment spelled from the fact it's a multiplayer game primarily. But that said, the more I've played this story mode, the more I've kind of enjoyed it, and I'm now thinking this is kind of the opposite to Yoshi in the Mysterious Book, where this started off and my opinion was reasonably low, but the more I play this, the more I'm thinking of it, and I now really quite like it, and I think it's more of a 7.5 out of 10 at the moment. But as I keep playing it more, if that progression continues, this might end up being a 9 out of 10 game. I will come back to this in the next episode. My major criticism, going back to what I said about it being a multiplayer game, is the fact this sort of the Mario Kart mode, if you like, where you're, you know, the race mode, if you like, there's no tournament, absolutely no tournament. There's whatever, a dozen tracks, but you just play one track and that's it. You know, why is there no tournament? Why is there no championship mode on that, where you race 4 courses and you get a gold, silver, bronze trophy? It seems such a missed opportunity to me. So, you know, you're stuck with the story mode, really. But it's crying out for this race mode to have a championship. If it had that, it would be so much better for me, personally. Because I'm never going to play it multiplayer. And I wouldn't want to play it multiplayer in this this arena mode. So, one can only hope for an update. But knowing Nintendo, it'll be paid DLC, won't it? If they do put this tournament mode on the race version of it. But anyway, if you've played Air Riders, and if it was you who recommended it to me, somebody definitely did in the comments. Thank you. it is good, and the more I'm playing it, the more I really like it. So anyway, we'll leave it there. This has dragged on far too long. Thank you for watching. Let me know about your opinion on any of the games I've mentioned, and see you shortly. That's my best yet. Pretty good. Yeah, on 26.81. That's the best I've done. I still think you can go faster. You can obviously get pole position there. But I'll leave it there. 126.81. Good luck to everybody.